Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Silicon Slope Show, or whatever we're calling this. I think it's Silicon Slope Show.
We'll get that right one day.
I'll figure out a good name, but I like that. I like that as a starting point, at the very least.
Yes.
Could do a lot worse.
Good.
Today's show is brought to you by Black Desert. And you're going to see Black Desert here as I talk about him. Black Desert is committed to one thing above all: fostering an endlessly fun and fascinating resort community without any pretense that puts the remarkable within reach. Home to a PGA FedEx Cup and LPGA event, Black Desert offers world-class golf, hospitality, dining, shopping, and recreating in a stunning 600-acre canvas in the heart of Greater Zion and southern Utah. My word, this place is unlike any other place on earth. So if you get the chance, check out Black Desert. It is beautiful. We have a great guest.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about him, Garrett.
Joshua Slater, co-founder of Gamepick. How are you, Josh?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm excited about today because we have some good news to chat about, but I really love what you guys are building at Gamepick. There's multiple layers of fun, but anytime you can place wagers on live sporting events, it's a good day. Tell us a little bit about Gamepick. Where did the idea come from? Where are you guys in the process?
Yeah. So, good question. So, this started. I'm not the brainchild behind this, so I can't take all the credit. But my co-founder, we're cousins, him and I. His name's John, and we played on a family indoor soccer team together. And after a game one day, we were sitting outside and talking about sports betting and investing and all these things. And we're like, how do we bring the world a way for people to sports bet without the risk of losing their money? And instead, that money goes to something beneficial for them, and they can invest that money. And so we just started talking and came up with this idea. And I told him, hey, man, you got to run with this. And he goes, well, I'm not going to do it without you. So we started it up, and here we are.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I'm on your site right now. By the way, would you mind pulling this in a little bit? I just want to make sure everybody hears you. You kind of want to there you go.
Is that better?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Great.
Very good. Very good. So how long have you been doing it?
So we came up with the idea back in 2020, right before kind of the COVID shutdown.
Yeah.
And that's when we were allowed to play soccer indoors and stuff. And then we went into this. And the reason why it's taken us so long to get where we're at is there's a lot of restrictions, believe it or not, to have the SEC get on board with somebody wanting to create a gambling website or application and link it with investments. So it took us quite a while to get them on board, and then finding people who wanted to work with us because, there's this weird idea of, hey, you're a gambling company, we don't want to work with you, right? Getting credit card processors, banks, anybody, it was really difficult to find somebody who really understood our idea and wanted to work with us. So we on the backside, we kept our development going. I'm not a developer, it's not what I do, but we've brought in people smarter than me to do that. And so eventually we're able to find all the key pieces to put together to create what we've done. And now I feel like we have an MVP out that we're proud about, and it works. And we've got users out there that can invest their money, and it's great. So we're excited about the steps that we've taken and where we're at.
I actually really like this idea. So typically what I would do is I would go to some foreign account. Let's just be honest. You can't do this in Utah, and you have to use Bitcoin. Can we explain how you illegally gamble in Utah? Is that legal?
I don't know.
Anyways, you have to do some weird stuff. Let's just say that. You have to do weird stuff in order to gamble in the state of Utah currently. But this should be legal in all 50 states, correct?
It is, yep.
Yeah, this is so how does it work? I put $20 on the Buffalo Bills, and the Buffalo Bills win. What happens?
Yeah, so what we do is when the money comes in, we actually don't touch the money. That money goes straight into the user's investment account. And so two things happen is the money comes in, goes right into their investment account. Then they're given tokens, or we're calling them diamonds, which are our in-game currency, right? There's no value to those. So they can go and play with these diamonds. They put down 20 diamonds on the Bills, your example, to win. And if they win diamonds back in proportion to the odds of the game itself. So we match the traditional odds of gambling, but instead of dollars, it's diamonds.
Yeah.
Have you thought about making those worth something, like making their own like cryptocurrency?
Yeah. If we do that, we then start getting into the rules of gambling, of breaking what's called consideration. And so in the world of gambling, consideration is putting something of value up to get something of value back. And so that's what makes gambling illegal, or sports betting illegal in general, is this idea of consideration. So if you make these diamonds not worth anything, then you're not breaking any gambling laws. You're an investment platform that offers a sports book for people to play that has no value.
It's interesting.
So in the old model, when I had a bookie, I always had a layer in between, right?
Yeah.
I think we're admitting to crimes today.
I think there's a lot of people in Utah that sports bet. Let's just call let's say how it is.
Yeah. But I do, gamble online. That money on the Bills line, if I lose, the money is transferred out. If I win, it's transferred in. Real money, consideration, right?
Yep.
So with y'all, you've got the diamonds, but then talk a little bit more about this investment account, because all the odds, everything is normal, right? Jazz plus 550 on a game against the Bulls, something like that. The investment accounts, are they like white labeled with Fidelity or Schwab or Robinhood? How does that work?
Yeah, so we are what's called an RIA, or a registered investment advisor, right? And so we use a third party, which is our custodian bank, to process all of these trades. So when somebody comes to our website, fills out an application, part of that application, so we have to do an application much like you would with any sort of brokerage account, right? And so they fill out an application. Part of the application questionnaire is a risk tolerance questionnaire that helps us identify people's susceptibility to risk, how risky they are in an investment versus not. And then what we do is we take that and help put their money into a diversified portfolio of funds that we've put together for them. So if somebody's more risk adverse, let's say we have 5 buckets. So let's say they're not risky. They don't want their money to be put into 100% S&P 500, right? There's going to be a little bit more bonds associated with that, or treasury or whatever, right? But if somebody's like, no, I want all my money, this is play money, let's put it all risky, it's going to be pretty much 100% into the S&P 500 and invested that way. So we've got different buckets of funds that we put together that help people achieve their financial investment goals that they want to achieve.
Yeah.
They're kind of like ETFs?
100% ETFs.
Yeah.
Yep. So each fund has a group of 5 or 6 ETFs within it.
Okay.
Yeah. So low cost to the investor, but also high returns.
So let's do an example. $1,000 with Gamepick.
Yeah.
It's in the investment account in ETF, getting 6%. I bet $400 diamonds. And at the end of the month, if the bets go well, I could have $1,200 in that ETF account, right?
Yeah. So the
diamonds.
In diamonds. Yeah. So they're separate. So if you win your diamonds, you don't get more funds into your brokerage account.
Okay.
Because then you're starting to cross lines there.
That's what I was wondering.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So the investment account will grow based off of the market, like any sort of brokerage account.
Okay.
And so the diamonds stay separate. So if you win your diamonds, people are like, oh, I'm good at this. I'm going to go take it to, any of these other platforms that we discussed and try my luck there.
Yeah.
And that's what people think, right? But we've run the math and run the numbers, and over the long term, no matter what, you're going to win and do better if you use our method and invest the money in the stock market while still playing your sports betting versus betting it away. If I can share an example, there's something that we did. Me and my co-founder, what he did is he went back to Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, and they had an incredible win percentage over their time together. It was like 85% of the games that they played, they won. So if somebody would have taken $100 and put it on the Patriots to win every game that they played together, or taken $100 and put it into, if this platform existed then, put it into this system versus $100 on every game for the Patriots to win, over the time that they played together. So it was that 2001 to 2019. So we'll call it 18 years. The average return in the market at that time was about 9.7%. They would have netted, if $100 a game, at the end of it, with about $20,000 of betting winnings, but over $60,000 in their investment account. So they would have netted over $40,000 over that 18-year period if they had done something like this versus playing the sportsbook. Because it's that idea of compounding interest that has a big effect. Whereas if you just win, you win that, and then you lose.
Yeah.
So how do you recreate kind of like the ecstasy of winning and the humiliation of losing? I see that you can like compete against friends. So it seems like you're thinking about like that competition aspect of sports betting. How does that work?
Yeah. So that's the hardest thing to try and emulate, right? Is one, the dopamine hit, but also the fun of it. So we're calling it on our side is the water cooler talking, right? I mean, you talk to your buddies, you have group chats or whatever, where you talk about the games or picks you've made. So we've created a group chat within our system. You can create a group and chat with each other and trash talk and do all, and compete against each other. Let's say, you make a pick on the Bills where I'm like, hey, there's no chance that the Bills are going to beat the Chiefs, right? Or whatever. And I can compete against you directly on that. And then we can do that. So that's the social aspect of it. But then how do we emulate the hit of actually winning something, right? So we're putting in what we're calling tournaments where there are actual prizes. And so somebody can buy into a tournament using our diamonds that have no value, and they can go win a tournament. So whoever performs the best at the end of this tournament can win a prize. Still avoiding all of these gambling laws.
Yep.
It ends up being more of a sweepstakes.
Yeah.
So we've had to figure all that information out and hire some gaming lawyers out of DC to help us figure it out. But we feel pretty buttoned up from that perspective where, we're doing a good thing.
Yeah.
How's it going so far?
Yeah. So right now we just released our MVP. Haven't really done much marketing. We're just kind of friends, family, beta testing. We have some champions who have found us organically, whether through social media or through our website, and are sold on the idea and love it. And so they've been kind of our champions in helping us get there. So right now we're pre-revenue. We don't really have any revenue other than those few people that have found us, but they are helping us make our product better. And so you've heard the idea, don't change anything until your customers tell you, well, they are our customer and they're helping us with that. So we're at the stage where we are ready to do a mass launch and start bringing people on.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How do you make money? So is it just off like the transaction fees?
Yeah. So we charge so if you look at a typical investment platform, right, they're going to charge you a percentage, right? Let's call it 1%.
Yeah.
So that is the standard. We're moving away from that because in my mind, trying to incentivize people to invest their money, charging them a percentage on the amount of assets they have invested is not an incentive for them. So what we do is we're charging a flat fee. So a flat monthly subscription, if you call it, right, fee for them. And so they pay this flat fee. So no matter how much money they put in or win or get, they're not paying more money. And that's our way of incentivizing them to keep coming back.
Yeah. What is your favorite sport to gamble on, Clint? If you did.
If I were to, and I would never, football.
Football. What do you have as far as options to play?
Yeah. Right now, it's the main United States sports because we've had to hone it in as we iterate and build everything out. Now we feel like we are at the point where we can start expanding. So right now it's NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB, and then NCAA basketball, men's and women's.
If memory serves, this could be a really good time to talk about Gamepick because there's a big tournament coming up, right?
There is a big tournament coming up at the end of March.
Any plans?
Yeah, so we are launching our tournaments for the March Madness. And so people can come to the site, sign up, and everybody who comes and signs up gets free diamonds. That's our way of incentivizing people to come so they can come, get 100 free diamonds, use those diamonds, enter into the tournament using these diamonds, and win a cash prize. Whoever performs the best at the end of the March Madness tournament wins. So we're not set up like a typical March Madness bracket, right? I mean, you see March Madness where you pick the winners of the bracket. Well, we're actually doing it much more like a sports book where they have overs, unders, and spreads. And so people can pick these overs, unders, and spreads to get tokens or diamonds. And we're changing the currency for our tournaments because we don't want there to be overlap or confusion, right? So, but yeah, whoever has the most tokens at the end of this wins a prize.
Yeah. This is really cool because when people ask me about gambling, ashamedly, I can go pretty deep on it, right? But I personally don't see that big of a difference between sports gambling or picking stocks. There's variables outside of your control in both. But
there's an enormous difference. How do you not see the difference?
Well, betting on Tom Brady and Bill Belichick versus a little portfolio of penny stocks.
Oh yeah, well, okay.
Yeah.
Now I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Why are you investing in penny stocks is the follow-up question, though.
Well, even like John Deere or General Electric, right? Like if they miss a quarter and the stock goes down, what power did you have there, right? It's the same thing if somebody fumbles on the 1 yard line.
All right, I'll let you keep going. I'm not going to challenge it anymore.
But it is good to learn and understand. Like understanding gambling is a good thing, right? Like it expands your mind and it makes life a little bit more fun. But also, like if somebody's not nuanced in investing, even just like in the S&P or ETFs, they're going to learn a little bit about financial management and wealth management and how to grow that, right? So two good things, I think.
Yeah. Well, and part of our idea here is to help educate people. So we have a whole section of our website that's dedicated to educating people. So we've got teaching people about compounding interest and returns, right? But then also there's articles that we're publishing regularly about gambling or sports betting or about investing and the ebbs and flows of all of that.
Yeah.
You actually wrote a post in this thing there. Is single stock picking just like gambling your money? So
Exactly.
there you go.
I did. I wrote that article myself.
What are your views?
I think there's a lot of overlap
Mm-hmm.
between single stock picking and gambling. Lots of people say that investing your money in single stocks is the legalized form of gambling. I think there's some differences for sure because you've got one industry that's not really regulated in gambling, and you've got one industry that's highly regulated in stocks and investing. Now, what's happening behind the scenes, you never really know, right? We've seen many situations where you've have CEOs or founders of companies that have led investors astray.
Yep.
But those are far and few between. And so that's the one difference I say. But as far as single stock picking, I mean, picking on Bitcoin, obviously Bitcoin's, now people are prophets, right? And saying, oh yeah, of course it's going great. But 2 years ago when it was down, 50%, nobody was saying that. But it's all speculative, right? And so it's the same thing with sports betting. It's a lot of speculation.
Yeah. And these prizes obviously are fun and they incentivize because you got the trash talk, the water cooler with your friends. But these could be like consumer products, backpacks, grills, those types of things, right? So you're playing for something cool, and then that's the ultimate bragging right? When that shows up in the mail or when you can come pick it up.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah, exactly. I mean, anything from physical, tangible prizes to cash that can be put into your brokerage account. Yeah, I mean, we're doors wide open on what we can give out.
I love it. Do you guys do parlays?
So the parlays in the system are ready to go. It hasn't been deployed yet. We've been focusing so much on getting our tournaments in place and dealing with our custodian bank and getting things buttoned up there. But now, once we release our tournaments and are in a good spot, parlays are next on our list. There's a parlay button right now that you can see. You can click it, and it just says coming soon.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of putting the formula in there to calculate a parlay payout.
Very cool. I love stories of 8, 9, 10 parlay wins, right?
I know.
Because for those that aren't aware, you could put a bet on the football, the hockey, the basketball, and if all of them hit, it's a huge payout, right?
Yeah, so I'll tell you kind of my story here. I've been testing the two systems side by side. So, I'm may or not have picked on one of these sites, right?
You were in Nevada when you did it.
Yeah, I was in Nevada or somewhere else where I could do it, right?
Yeah.
Go down to St. George and just cross, go into
exactly.
go into Mesquite or something. Anyway, I accidentally hit a parlay. Like I had went to go make some single stock picks to compare it to our Gamepick site and accidentally hit a parlay. And I was like, what? How, I put down $20 and won $1,300.
Oh.
Well, what I didn't know and what most people don't know is those funds are locked. If you use a bonus from these gambling sites to get on and you win with this bonus, that's not your money. You don't get to keep that. You have to bet that and inevitably most likely lose that in order for it to be your money. And that was something I learned through this process was like, oh, okay, I'm going to withdraw this money. Oh, no, you can't because you won that using a bonus that you signed up for. And so it was really kind of an interesting idea. And so it got me to this idea of learning about these bonuses that these, I think there's some right now that are like, oh, bet $5, get $250. Well, if you win with this, it's not your money.
A little bit of fine print. These guys didn't get really fancy fountains in their casinos by not figuring this stuff out a long time ago.
A little bit smarter than I am, I guess.
Yeah. Clint, did you put any money on the Iditarod?
No, I should. Honestly, I didn't even know what the Iditarod was until yesterday.
Yes, this is a running news update. Yesterday we talked about Dallas CV. A moose tangled up with his mushing team, and he was forced to shoot the moose. Not a well-known rule for those not familiar with the Iditarod, but you need to gut the animal, so the moose. So, a 3-person panel convened by the Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race Marshal Warren Palfrey on Wednesday to review Dallas CV, the musher in question's fatal encounter with a moose earlier this week, determined that the animal was not sufficiently gutted by the musher. And poor Dallas, that's why I asked. He said, I gutted it as best as I could, but it was ugly. So the committee has decided to give Dallas a 2-hour penalty. So if you had money on Dallas, again, completely outside of your control, you would not have anticipated that.
Not good. A 2-hour penalty is
not good, right? Because he's one of the better ones, and those 2 hours could make or break for him, right? So
poor guy.
I know.
I wonder if he's going to get home and start practicing his gutting moving forward.
My guess is he was probably pretty good at it. He wanted to keep winning the race. But yeah, like next time, I'm sure all the other competitors are going to do a better job there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that if you kill something, you have to gut it.
Yeah. Yep. So it's a 1,000-mile race. He's somewhere. They tried calling him, went straight to voicemail to get his opinion on the matter. But he's out like battling elements. There's probably wolves following him, and
he could easily be dead.
Yeah, we have no idea.
So like the 2-hour penalty.
Yeah.
His penalty is the rest of time.
Quite the experience up there.
How would you like that job, to be the person to go out there to find the moose, to
Yeah,
then
how do you
assess if it was
Yeah.
good enough or not?
Like, nah, not good enough.
Not good enough.
Probably
2 hour
just some
penalty.
old gray beards like, no, that's not how my dad taught me how to do it.
Luckily, the reports are that a lot of the moose was able to be salvaged, though. Thank goodness, even despite the hack job on the gutting.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
The most famous moose of all time.
With the team that you're building, you've mentioned like DC attorneys and gaming, and what kind of skill sets are you going to need for your team to evolve?
Yeah. Right now we have a CTO. We brought him on recently, and then you've got me and the guy who started this all, kind of the original idea, is my cousin. So oddly enough, me and my cousin are both by trade 9-to-5 tax accountants.
Wow.
That's perfect for this.
Yeah, I've heard somebody say that accountants are the worst entrepreneurs. I'm out on a mission to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've got something to offer the world, and so we've got the two founders. I'm sitting as the CEO, and then the CTO, and then we've got a back end developer who's helping us along the way. We learned about this idea last year called Lean Startup. If anybody's heard of that. We were not running on a lean startup method originally, and poured our own hard-earned money, sweat, and tears into this to learn about this lean startup method later on. And so we made a pivot. We had to let go of our dev team that we were working with because they were bleeding us out of money. They did a great job with the work that they did, but we just couldn't keep on that trajectory. So we switched methods and went to this lean startup, brought on a full equity CTO, brought in a back end person that this CTO knows, and it's been our spending decreased like 4 times, and it's been a lot easier of a method for us, and we feel like we're more of a team now, versus we're hired somebody to do work for us, and then they're giving us something, and it may come when we're expecting it may not. They may tell us, oh, it's delayed, oh, we're having issues, oh, these things are happening, because they're getting paid no matter what, right? Whereas with this method or this lean startup, everybody's invested into this success of this product, and they want it to get out and be successful. And so it's been good. I've learned that if you're not using this method, that's why startups fail. That's why new companies fail, is you're not using a lean method to work with your teams, and not everybody's invested, and you end up running out of money.
Yeah.
So.
Which I think is similar to following or chasing a bad bet in the gambling parlance.
Yeah.
It's all about timing and using your resources when you have them, or don't. But chasing a bad bet is very similar to chasing money at the wrong time.
Yeah, I agree.
think, my opinion. A little bit of fun news here. Rocket Tutors won a $10,000 grand prize in the 2024 High School Utah Entrepreneur Challenge. They won first place, the $10,000 Sue Gibson grand prize.
Oh, look at these two. How cool is this?
Awesome. The Rocket Tutor team is from West High School, and they are building a free one-on-one online math tutoring application. 20 teams made it to the final event in this business idea competition, open to all high school students in the state of Utah. They competed for $30,000 in cash and scholarships. The competition was hosted by the Lassonde Entrepreneur Institute, which is one of the most amazing groups in Utah, an interdisciplinary division of the David Eccles School of Business, and sponsored by Zions Bank. So the Rocket Tutor team of Senia Arguala said she started the business with her brother Arya after a personal experience with needing a tutor. Last year, she said, I started really struggling in math class, and my parents got me online tutoring, and it really started helping me, said Arguala, a junior at West High School. So her and her brother came up with the idea that there are a lot of students out there struggling and they don't have the resources to pay for it. So they built a solution. Good for them.
Yeah,
And they
that's
won.
very cool. By the way, this story was written on TechBuzz
Tech
News,
Buzz.
so check out TechBuzz News. Great site for the latest things happening within Utah and Silicon Slopes. Congratulations. Wow, that's very cool.
Good for
I
them.
love it.
That's neat.
Look how dressed up they are.
Yep.
My word.
Yeah, they'll realize that you don't have to, unless you want to, because they do look sharp, dress like that once they realize you can dress sloppy startup after. Man, all I want to do is go put some bets down now, in a good way.
Not in a good way.
In a bad way.
Garrett is a degenerate gambler. Gosh, so
I am.
He doesn't look degenerate to me.
I keep it.
look closer.
So far, none of the bad things, but man, it is. It makes life a lot more fun, and it makes sports even better, which is tough to say because sports are awesome.
Sports are fun, but aren't they a lot more fun when you're invested in the success of a turnout of a game in
Mhm.
some way, right? I mean, I'm a big University of Utah fan, so sorry. I mean, we're down in Provo, but
Okay. You're wearing blue.
but I'm diehard University of Utah, and I watching their basketball games and football games. You know, I'm invested in that because of my, you know, I want their success, but I never thought that I would be more invested in watching to see if Travis Kelce was going to score more than 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Right? I mean, I was hoping that he wouldn't,
Mm-hmm.
because I took that. I just said, no, I don't want Travis Kelce to score more than 2 touchdowns. And so when he didn't, I was excited about it, right?
Yeah.
But like, you know, there's so many things or aspects of sports that are fun to be invested in, you know, pun intended from our perspective, right? People
Yeah.
can have an aspect of a game that it's fun.
We were at Nick's game in 2020 because he calls me a degenerate, but we often talk about sports gambling. And I had 3 prop bets on Travis Kelce, and he got all 3 of those, and it was a great payday.
Good for you.
Yeah.
What?
We
At a
lost on the
Knicks game?
Knicks. We were at the Knicks game, yeah, in New
Oh,
York.
I see. There's a parlay. Okay.
Yeah, and then we didn't win on any of the NBA action that day, but
So it was
yeah,
a
I
wash.
still remember it. Now the Travis Kelce paid out a lot more.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a fun memory of being with friends and being at a sporting event and then gambling on a completely different one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Well, and let's be clear, I'm not telling people to go gamble their money away,
No,
right?
no,
I mean,
of course not.
Yeah.
but if people want to find a good, safe, legal
Yep.
in Utah way to play sports betting or be invested into an event, this is a good way to do that. Originally, our whole idea was circled around states, this being illegal in states, right? Sports betting being illegal.
Mhm.
Most people don't know kind of the realm that led to where we are today in sports betting. Like, it used to be 5 years ago, you never see an ad for a gambling or sports book out there, right? Like site or application. But now you can't watch a sporting event, listen to a sporting event, or breathe the air around a sporting event without seeing something associated with it.
Yeah.
Well,
So how-
even the announcers mention it.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
They're like, it's going to cover the spread, or it's not going to cover the
All the
spread.
talk shows on, do it. Yeah, everybody does it. So how did we get here? Right? I mean, how did this happen? Most people don't know why it was illegal before and why now all of a sudden it's not. But there used to be this law out there. For short, it's called the PAPSA, or it's the professional and amateur, sporting rule that made it illegal for people to sports bet. Well, in 2018, the Supreme Court overruled this law, which then made it legal federally, so states could decide. And what happened is all these states went, well, great, we want our piece of the pie here. And so they, in mass exodus, started making this legal. So now we're in a position where over 35 of our United States have legal sports betting, with another 5 to 8 that have legislation in the works.
Yeah,
And
we'll
then
get to 49, and you know the holdout? It'll be Utah.
Utah.
Utah will never do this.
Yeah.
You know, surprisingly enough, Idaho is very restrictive too from that perspective. They have their own, you know, casino things that they deal with up in Idaho, but specifically online gambling. Most you know, this may surprise you, but like states like California and Texas are some of the biggest holdouts, believe it or not, and they have more professional sports teams than anybody else, and they have not legalized online gambling. But you're right. I think that we're going to see a day where potentially 49 states will have it legalized gambling. A lot of these states are starting to second guess their decision. Like state of New York specifically is
Saying they maybe shouldn't have done it.
maybe they shouldn't have done it so quickly. So I think that
Well, I think a lot of them are second guessing the marijuana thing too. You know, kind of same, like, let's legalize marijuana. It's like, oh, actually, this isn't incredible.
You never know till you do it, though.
Well, I think money drives a lot of decisions, right? I mean, part of the reason why I think gambling, right, was legalized, or marijuana is like, well, let's make it legal. If people are doing it anyway, we might as well tax it and make it legal, right? And that's kind of what's happened with sports betting. Is the state of New York has profited like last year over $250 million in sports gambling, and so
That's cool.
why would they not, right? And so from a state perspective, that's why they do it. It's because they want their piece of the pie. And but what they're finding is that the quick access that people have to phones nowadays is it's potentially causing more of an issue. And they're seeing some potential degenerates,
Possibly.
not to bring it, you know. But anyway, yeah.
To bring
Possibly.
it back to our boy in yellow here.
Gamepick.com, right?
Gamepick.com.
Have some fun. Support a local entrepreneur. Support a startup team, and learn a couple of really cool things about how the world works, I think.
Josh, thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks for
Thank you.
having me.
That was awesome.
This has been a great experience, and talking with you has been awesome.
Yeah, check out Gamepick.com. We will see everybody Monday. Who do we have Monday?
Bob Worsley, former senator and founder, CEO of Zenny Home. Everyone have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend. Happy gambling.